Good morning. This is a study group dedicated to helping everyone involved in it to unprogram from scarcity and lack consciousness by reading Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. So this book, you don't have to have read it to be part of the study group. There's a free copy in our Facebook group. And right now we're on, hi Tracy.
Good morning.
Morning.
Looks like you've been up for hours.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean? Oh, really?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. I got up at 5:30.
Oh, wow.
Hey,
For a nap. Morning, Glenn.
Hey,
good
Glenn.
morning.
Yeah, so we're on chapter 11, and it's all about transmutation of sex energy. But we're nearly at the end of it, so we're on page 177 in the group copy.
We're flying right along. Hi, Jackie.
Yeah. Oh,
Morning.
morning, Jackie. Did everyone have a good weekend? Oh, and Geraldine.
Hi.
Right.
Hello.
So how was Italy, Tracy?
It was nice. We were expecting rain the whole time, but we didn't get any.
Oh,
They were wrong with all the weather reports, so we just had sun and a little bit of clouds the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
cool.
Long drive, but it was fun.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Oh.
How long of a drive is that?
The first day it was about probably 11 hours.
Oh.
But on the way back, it was only 9 or so, because we got stopped in gridlock traffic for more than an hour at
On
one
the way
point.
there.
People were getting out of their cars, and it was pretty awful.
Oh.
But you know, that's part of traveling.
Okay, cool. So let's get started. Who would like to read?
I'll
I
read.
don't have my
Nobody
book
else
on my
wants.
computer. Go for
Okay,
it, Jeff.
Jackie.
Awesome. And we're on page 177. I'm sorry. Friday seems far away.
Oh, that's okay. We're on page 177. I think then when the emotion of romance is added to those of love and sex, the obstructions
Yep. Okay.
are removed. Yeah,
I
the
guess I-
third paragraph up from the bottom of the page.
Is that good then for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
When the emotion of romance is added to those of love and sex, the obstructions between the finite mind of people and infinite intelligence are removed. Then a genius has been born. What a different story is this than those usually associated with the emotion of sex. Here is an interpretation of the emotion which lifts it out of the commonplace and makes of it potter's clay in the hands of God, from which he fashions all that is beautiful and inspiring. It is an interpretation which would, when properly understood, bring harmony out of the chaos which exists in too many marriages. The disharmonies often expressed in the form of nagging may usually be traced to lack of knowledge on the subject of sex. Where love, romance, and the proper understanding of the emotion and function of sex abide, there is no disharmony between married people. Fortunate is the husband whose wife understands, or the wife whose husband understands, the true relationship between the emotions of love, sex, and romance. When motivated by this holy triumvirate, no form of labor is burdensome, because even the most lowly form of effort takes on the nature of the labor of love. It is a very old saying that a man's wife may either make him or break him, or that a man's husband may either make her or break her. But the reason is not always understood. The making and breaking is the result of the wife's or the spouse's understanding or lack of understanding of the emotions of love, sex, and romance. Despite the fact that people are polygamous by the very nature of their biological inheritance, it is true that no person has as great an influence of a human as their spouse, unless they are married to a spouse totally unsuited to their nature. If a person permits their spouse to lose interest in them and become more interested in other people, it is usually because of their ignorance or indifference toward the subject of sex, love, and romance. This statement presupposes, of course, that genuine love once existed between a husband and wife. The facts are equally applicable to a person who permits their spouse's interest in them to die. Married people often bicker over a multitude of trivialities. If these are analyzed accurately, the real cause of the trouble will often be found in the indifference or ignorance on these subjects. People's greatest motivating force is their desire to please their spouse. The hunter who excelled during prehistoric days before the dawn of civilization did so because of their desire to appear great in the eyes of their spouse. Human's nature has not changed in this respect. The hunter of today brings home no skins of wild animals, but they indicate their desire for their favor by supplying fine clothes, motor cars, and wealth. Human has the same desire to please their spouse that they had before the dawn of civilization. The only thing that has changed is their method of pleasing. People who accumulate large fortunes and attain to great heights of power and fame do so mainly to satisfy their desire to please their spouse. Take a human out of their lives and great wealth would be useless to most people. It is this inherent desire of human to please another human which gives people the power to make or break a person. The person who understands human nature and tactfully caters to it need have no fear of competition from other people. People may be giants with indomitable willpower when dealing with other people, but they are easily managed by the person of their choice. Most people will not admit that they are easily influenced by the person they prefer, because it is in the nature of the person to want to be recognized as a stronger of the species. Moreover, the intelligent person recognizes this humanly trait and very wisely makes no issue of it. Some people know that they are being influenced by the people of their choice, their spouse, sweetheart, parents, siblings, but they tactfully refrain from rebelling against the influence because they are intelligent enough to know that no person is happy or complete without the modifying influence of the right person. The person who does not recognize the important truth deprives themselves of the power which has done more to help humans achieve success than all other forces combined. Chapter 12, The Subconscious Mind, the Connecting Link. The 11th step towards riches. The subconscious mind consists of a field of consciousness in which every impulse of thought that reaches the objective mind through any of the five senses is classified and recorded, and from which thoughts may be recalled or withdrawn as letters may be taken from a filing cabinet. It receives and files sense impressions or thoughts, regardless of their nature. You may voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind at any time You may voluntarily plant in your subconscious mind any plan, thought, or purpose which you desire to translate into physical or monetary equivalent. The subconscious acts first on the dominating desires which have been mixed with emotional feelings such as faith. Consider this in connection with the instructions given in the chapter on desire. For taking the 6 steps there outlined and the instructions given in the chapter on the building and execution of plans, you will understand the importance of the thought conveyed. The subconscious mind works day and night. Through a method of procedure unknown to man, the subconscious mind draws upon the forces of infinite intelligence for the power with which it voluntarily transmutes one's desires into their physical equivalent, making use always of the most practical media by which this end may be accomplished. You cannot entirely control your subconscious mind, but you can voluntarily hand over to it any plan, desire, or purpose which you wish transformed into concrete form. Read again instructions for using the subconscious mind in the chapter on autosuggestion. There's plenty of evidence to support the belief that the subconscious mind is the connecting link between the finite mind of human and infinite intelligence. It is the intermediary through which one may draw upon the forces of infinite intelligence at will. It alone contains the secret process by which mental impulses are modified and changed into their spiritual equivalent. It alone is the medium through which prayer may be transmitted to the source capable of answering prayer. The possibilities of created effort connected with the subconscious mind are stupendous and imponderable. They inspire one with awe. We never approach the discussion of the subconscious mind without a feeling of littleness and fear and inferiority due, perhaps, to the fact that humans' entire stock of knowledge on the subject is so pitifully limited. The very fact that the subconscious mind is the medium of communication between the thinking mind of human and infinite intelligence is, of itself, a thought which almost paralyzes one's reason. After you have accepted as a reality the existence of the subconscious mind and understand its possibilities as a medium for transmuting your desires into their physical or monetary equivalent, you will comprehend the full significance of the instructions given in the chapter on desire. You will also understand why you have been repeatedly admonished to make your desires clear and to reduce them to writing. You will also understand the necessity of persistence in carrying out instructions. The 13 principles are the stimuli with which you acquire the ability to reach and to influence your subconscious mind. Do not become discouraged if you cannot do this upon the first attempt. Remember that the subconscious mind may be voluntarily directed only through habit, under the directions given in this chapter on faith. You have not yet had time to master faith. Be patient, be persistent. A good many statements in the chapters on faith and autosuggestion will be repeated here for the benefit of your subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind functions voluntarily, whether you make any effort to influence it or not. This naturally suggests to you that thoughts of fear and poverty and all negative thoughts serve as stimuli to your subconscious mind unless you master these impulses and give it more desirable food upon which it may feed. The subconscious mind will not remain idle. If you fail to plant desires in your subconscious mind, it will feed upon the thoughts which reach it as a result of your neglect. We've already explained that thought impulses, both negative and positive, are reaching the subconscious mind continuously from the 4 sources which were mentioned in the chapter on sex transmutation. For the present, it is sufficient if you remember that you are living daily in the midst of all manner of thought impulses which are reaching your subconscious mind without your knowledge. Some of these impulses are negative, some are positive. You are now engaged in trying to help oil the flow the flow of negative impulses and to aid in voluntarily influencing your subconscious mind through positive impulses of desire. When you achieve this, you will possess the key which unlocks the door to your subconscious mind. Moreover, you will control that door so completely that no undesirable thought may influence your subconscious mind. Everything which human creates begins in the form of a thought impulse. Humans can create nothing which they do not first conceive in thought. Through the aid of the imagination, thought impulses may be assembled into plans. The imagination, when under control, may be used for the creation of plans or purposes that lead to the success in one's chosen occupation. All thought impulses intended for transmutation into their physical equivalent, voluntarily planted in the subconscious mind, must pass through the imagination and be mixed with faith. The mixing of faith with a plan or purpose intended for submission to the subconscious mind may be done only through imagination. From these statements, you will readily observe that voluntary use of the subconscious mind calls for coordination and application of all the principles. Ella Wheeler Wilcox gave evidence of her understanding of the power of the subconscious mind when she wrote, "You never can tell what a thought will do in bringing you hate or love, for thoughts are things, and their airy wings are swifter than carrier doves. They follow the law of the universe, each thing creates its kind, and they speed o'er the track to bring you back whatever went out from your mind." Mrs. Wilcox understood the truth that thoughts which go out from one's mind also embed themselves deeply in one's subconscious mind, where they serve as a magnet, pattern, or blueprint by which the subconscious mind is influenced while translating them into their physical equivalent. Thoughts are truly things for the reason that every material thing begins in the form of thought energy. The subconscious mind is more susceptible to influence by impulses of thought mixed with feeling or emotion than by those originating solely in the reasoning portion of the mind. In fact, there is much evidence to support the theory that only emotionalized thought have any action influence upon the subconscious mind. It is a well-known fact that emotion or feeling rules the majority of people. If it is true that the subconscious mind responds more quickly to and is influenced more readily by thought impulses which are well mixed with emotion, it is essential to become familiar with the more important of the emotions. There are 7 major positive emotions and 7 major negative emotions. The negatives voluntarily inject themselves into the thought impulses which ensure passage into the subconscious mind. The positives must be injected through the principle of autosuggestion into the thought impulses which an individual wishes to pass on to his subconscious mind. Instructions have been given in the chapter on autosuggestion. These emotions or feelings, impulses may be likened to yeast in the loaf of bread because they constitute the action element which transforms thought impulses from the passive to the active state. Thus may one understand why thought impulses which have been well mixed with emotion are acted upon more readily than thought impulses originating in cold reason. You are preparing yourself to influence and control the inner audience of your subconscious mind in order to hand over to it the desire for money, which you wish transmuted into its monetary equivalent. It is essential, therefore, that you understand the method of approach to this inner audience. You must speak its language, or it will not heed your call. It understands best the language of emotion or feeling. Let us, therefore, describe here the 7 major positive emotions and the 7 major negative emotions so that you may draw upon the positives and avoid the negatives when giving instructions to your subconscious mind.
Okay, Jackie.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you so much. You did really well there with the chapter before and all the men and the women, the husbands, the wives. That was pretty complicated.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So maybe just if we start with that part, and I might get a bit distracted here because a huge wasp just flew into my living room. So, if I run screaming, that's why, not anything that anyone said. So the last bit you read in the chapter before was about, it's basically just summing up what he'd said in that chapter, that all successful people have had a man or a wife behind them. So does anybody want to add anything to that before we wrap that up?
Yeah, I think it's like you were saying last week, Sandy. It's like a team thing, right? You know, where and it's synergy too, right? Where 1 and 1 is more than 2. You know, right?
Yeah, exactly.
When you find a partner that's of like mind, let's say, right? You know, that wants to participate in all of your endeavors, right? And even in your dreams, right? You know, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I see it. It just makes you a little bit stronger because you're not doing, you have your own mastermind partner there with you every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know my relationship, definitely I'm a better person because of my husband. Like I was really lucky that way, and we're like a total team, and we definitely push each other and get further together. And I'm really lucky that way, I have to say.
Yeah, that's cool because I saw some friends at the weekend. One of them is kind of the opposite of that. You know, they're actually sort of breaking up now, but her partner was not always very honest about things and wasn't really someone that they could trust. And it kind of had the opposite effect, you know, where you're in a relationship, but it's using up your energy and your time, and it's not. It just makes your life more complicated. So it's. I think Napoleon's onto something. Like, you know, carefully selecting. Yeah.
And Glenn's got 50 years to back up his statement, so I'm going to trust him on that.
Yeah.
Have you been married 50 years, Glenn?
You know, we've had our struggles over the years too, you know, but, and which everybody does. You know, you go through periods when you're really close and other times when you're kind of, you know, at odds. But you know, I kind of took my marriage vows seriously, right? You know, realizing that that yes, you do go through the thick and the thin, you know, but overall, you know, it's neat. Pretty
cool. Oh. How long have you been married, Glenn? 50 years?
50 years, yeah. 50 years last July.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Congratulations.
Wow. That's beautiful. Huh. So nearly 51 years then.
Yeah, we'll be 51 in July. Yeah.
In a month, yeah. Cool. Oh, cool. And then the next part is all about obviously the subconscious mind and like influencing it so that it sort of I think of it like it's kind of like somebody said this analogy which really helped me understand it, that if you have like an iceberg, you see the top part with your eyes, but you don't see underneath. There's this whole huge, massive, like as big as a country chunk of ice.
90% of it is underwater, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's really moving the part that we see at the top.
Yes.
And so when your subconscious mind isn't supporting you because you are being overrun by worry and fear, you're trying to in your waking day, you're doing your affirmations, you're visualizing, you're doing your work, but your iceberg is actually going another way. So I really noticed that in my own life at one point. I found that even if you're asking the universe lots of questions and sort of doing lots of things, if you feel like your overall energy isn't moving the same way, you have to do something else. So this has been a really useful chapter for me, I know that. Has anyone else experienced something like that?
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, part of the struggle of being human, right? But when you develop a desire and you get it into your subconscious, then you will produce, right? You will create that. You'll get excited about it. You will create it.
Yeah.
You can see it in your own life. You can see that.
Yeah. And I think the cool thing about like doing what we're doing, and like becoming a student of a book, which is all about that, is that it makes the whole process less mysterious.
Yes.
Like I could never really understand before why some things would always work really well in my life, and then other things wouldn't. And it always seemed very kind of a hit and miss. But the more I've done personal development, read books like this, and especially actually since reading this book every day, in a much more present way than just sort of listening to it on audio, I really feel like I'm starting to master that whole process far more than ever. Like it's not just, oh, I hope this works. It's more like, this is exactly what I'm doing, and it's just gonna work.
I think there's a shared energy between all of us just by doing this too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I've noticed is I used to use so much energy with the kind of worry and the negative kind of thinking that I've got a lot more energy. And it's like the energy creates energy, so it's just building on itself, Yeah. Yes, I'm finding I have a lot more energy and I feel a lot more inspired all the time now. So yeah, it's really powerful.
Yeah. And what's helped you, is there one thing that springs to mind, Geraldine, that helped you sort of move out of that fear and that worry, or is it like a lot of different things? Or
it is a lot of different things. I mean, I do find this very helpful in the to do this in the morning, because it just, I suppose it reminds me to sort of reinforce it, and to actually, sort of come from a very positive place, because I find this very positive in the morning, but it is lots of different things, and I do find it's like there's an energy now that's kind of inspiring, and that's inspires me, and it's kind of building on itself.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I heard the guy. Oh, go on, Jackie. Was it you? Oh.
I was just nodding my head in agreement.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I had the guy that started the one that gave me the idea for this. He's actually become a mastermind buddy of two of my mentors, which is really funny how how the world gets smaller. So I'm hearing about him a lot now. and because I mastermind with my mentors on a regular basis, and he started. He didn't know how long he would keep the calls up because he does what we do, but on a telephone call, Monday to Friday as well. And he started 3.5 years ago, and now he's like, you know, he's on his way to making $500,000 in network marketing the past 2 years. He probably doesn't need to do it as much, but he wants to, you know. He's like, I'm not going to stop ever because he just gets such a kick out of it, and it's helped him so much, and he doesn't want to stop the growth, you know. So that was really inspiring. So I was like, oh my God, just from doing what we're doing, you know, like reading this book, becoming a student of it, and also like sharing that energy, you know, like not just reading it on your own, but like coming together in a group. So, oh yes, the wasp went outside.
Small victories.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I do wonder if that inspiration that I'm feeling is that kind of secret ingredient, and a load of people get together discussing something really positive. You know what I mean? It's like the faith aspect, kind of the infinite intelligent aspect.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. I've also found that writing things out has helped a lot. Like when I started to do that, it just makes things more real. You know, when you write it out on paper and you put it all around your room or your flat or your house.
Good thing to do.
Yeah, or even Bob Proctor's suggestion of having a card where you put your target.
Yes.
When I started to do that, that also helps a lot because then it's like that auto suggestion. Your brain's just constantly seeing the same message, and it's like it starts to be like, okay, this is actually happening because it's written out on a piece of paper. It's really strange. But
it's starting to steer that iceberg right under the water.
Yeah, totally.
Can I ask you guys a question? Do you get like excited thinking like, what is this plan that's going to come to me, and how's it all going to come together? And like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, you know, because I try different things and some things work and and you know, because I'm not there yet, I'm like, well, how is this all going to work? And I just try to have faith, and sometimes I get excited just thinking, well, I wonder what it's going to be.
That's yeah. No. I can share something, but does anybody else want to add something first?
Well, just, you know, mixing the imagination with your plans, right? You know, maybe it'll take you in a new direction. Who knows, you know, right? You know, it's...
But yeah, and also what Napoleon just said and what you were just reading, Jackie, about mixing emotion with the words. Like that's kind of what your question is addressing as well. And something I found that's really helped me, I actually sort of changed, you know, the written statement that he suggests you do. I changed mine slightly because I found it took me a lot of work to get excited when I would read mine. And then I watched a hangout with a woman who's sort of creating what I would like to create on the internet. And she was very down to earth and just shared exactly what she did. And one thing that stood out a lot was she wrote a page out of her day when she realized she'd hit her target. So like exactly what she did in the morning before she knew, and then like the moment where she realized, and then what she did to celebrate. And she started to read that every single night. And the beautiful thing was that she went to a live event that I went to as well, but I didn't do this exercise, and I think I still had like a lot of stuff to get rid of. And she started to do this last July, and then the following month she hit her target, but she went twice over it.
Wow. Like
her target was to make about $10,000 worth of sales in her business, and she made just over 21,000.
Wow.
And so I started to do that exercise the same day. And I've noticed it makes a big difference, Jackie, because it's so, like I put so much detail into it, and I'm like, I realize that I just have to dance, and because I know that's exactly what I normally do when I get excited about. So it doesn't have to be dancing, but just think of like moments you've already had when you did get excited about something and what you did, you know, and then how you'll treat yourself. You know, like in mine, I've got I go and I'm really geeky. I love to read, so I'm like, I go and buy like the whole series of Game of Thrones, and I just buy a bottle of white wine and sit in the garden and read the book all day. It's really geeky, but just like putting it on my sheet, and then like when I read it at night, I feel myself getting excited because I can sense it happening, and I can sense it closer and closer, like it's not so far in the future anymore. I hope that helps.
Getting up at 5:30 is amazing, Sandy.
Oh yeah, I know that this is helping. Like now I'm like, especially now that I'm just kind of reading in bed, I'm not getting out into the cold straight away. That helps. Yeah. So maybe do that, Jackie, and don't think so much about how it will happen, but just be very clear this is what you want, and then keep asking the universe to show you the plan. Yeah.
I do, and that's why I'm excited, because I know it's going to come, and different things happen, and I'm like, all right, and this is leading to this, and but
Cool.
I don't know. I know it's going to work, but I'm not exactly sure how exactly. And I don't know. It makes me feel good to think about. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not explaining it very well.
No, it makes sense. It's like, you don't have to figure out the whole journey, but you have to choose where you're going. I think that's how you would put it.
Like I get a little closer and see a little closer. Like yesterday, actually, it was kind of funny because I was like arguing with my mom, but then after I was done arguing, I could see how clearly like what I need to do, because if I'm arguing with my mom about this, and I'm like, and you're on my side, think about the people who aren't on my side. How am I going to convince them? And like, and then even with my husband, like he was telling me about these solar roadway things, and he's like, you need to look up this video, and then Geraldine, you sent me the link to it, to donate it to it, right?
Wow.
Okay, so like he told me, and I'm like, and I told him, there's the power of Facebook, because not only did you send me the link, but one of my other friends sent me the link, but hers didn't send me the link to donate to it, and like finally you sent me the link to donate to it, and he had told me about this like a week ago, but because he's not on Facebook and he doesn't use the computer, and he tells me about things all the time, so I can't always constantly look everything up. So there's like a perfect example, like, because that's something we want to see come into fruition, something that like my husband and I are so into, like taking action for the earth and doing things like and so there was a perfect example of Geraldine sending me that link on Facebook that I could have it just right there.
Yeah, that's the universe.
Things like that.
Universe, right? Yeah. That's getting tuned in.
Yeah.
Like Geraldine, I didn't even know you 2 weeks ago. Right? Or 3 weeks ago. Or like, I don't know how long you've been in the group, but it seems like you're a very new friend, and I love Facebook.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone. We're coming up to time, so thanks for reading, Jackie.
Thanks for letting me. Everybody have a great week.
Thanks.
Yeah. And
Have a great day.
have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Later.